Hi there. I'm not sure how you got here. I'm also not sure how I got here. I imagine most of us have this question. So what's going on? Well, what's going on is I decided that I didn't want to go down a rabbit hole of productivity and unnecessary procrastination. However, I know what I'm kind of passionate about in terms of my life, and I've been struggling to kind of prioritize that. And so I figured, hey, this might be interesting and useful to somebody, and it also hopefully will be interesting and useful to me. Now, I have no storyboard, I have no plan, I have no script. I'm just going into this totally, um, what is it that people say when they take a picture? Candid, is it that? Okay. So this is what I got. And this is all I figured out. Ikigai board. So if you don't know what Ikigai is, it's some word that basically refers to lining up your purpose with like what brings value into this world. And so when I think about bringing value into the world, I think of technology. I'm sure many people have a very similar story, but since as long as I can remember, I've been tech support for people in my career, in my personal life, throughout my education. I kind of have a good mindset and knack for solving these kinds of things. And so I feel like this is where I bring a lot of value. Now, I feel like that's an input. In terms of an output, cards. Cars. I really love cars. I think it's a really interesting thing because when it comes to life, depending on how you look at it, some people might say you're in full control of your life, whereas some other people might say that, life is out of one's control. And then you can get into the destiny versus, nature and nurture, all those different arguments about how much control you have over your life. However, I don't want to get into that, but when you drive a car, you are in control. You are fully in control, like 100% in control, and that's a really rare feeling to have. For example, when you're using your computer and you run into errors and you have to fix things, or I don't know, like you're doing your job and like there's all kinds of different stakeholders and deadlines and things that can kind of like mold your path. But when you're in a car, if you want to turn left, you can turn left, and when you want to turn right, you can turn right. Now, you can do that on foot too, but doing it at 50 or 100 kilometers an hour is a lot more exciting and thrilling, and so I think that's really interesting. Now, if this is making no sense to you, that is totally fine because I'm struggling with it myself. And then you have home. So with home, I feel like this is where we're gonna have to bust out the text. Cooking. I love cooking. I think that cooking is an art form, and it's a great opportunity to leverage your skills and develop something that is literally nourishing your body, and it's just very positive overall. Now when it comes to cooking and living at home and taking care of a house, it is quite complex. It's easy to try to conceptualize what do I have to do? Just wash the dishes and do my laundry and cook food and clean and do all those kinds of things. However, nowadays we live in a world of all kinds of new problems that need to be solved, new ideals. So for example, microplastics are taking the world by storm. There's microplastics in my body, there's microplastics in your body, and they're everywhere. And they're in your chewing gum, and they're in your toothbrushes, and probably in the toothpaste too, which, I don't know how good or bad fluoride may or may not be. in toothpaste. Apparently it keeps your teeth clean, but apparently it makes you dumber too, so depends on how you look at it. So the reason I kind of went down that path is because I am all for natural living. Now, when I say natural living, as much as I'd love to go move to, by the water or in a valley and disconnect from everything and become a rice farmer, that's not very realistic. So when it comes to natural living, I think balance is a really important core concept. So we have cooking, microplastics, natural living, and balance. These are very important to me. Now, for example, when I think about cooking, I think, what kind of oil do you use in your house? Are you using seed oils, which are really bad for you? Or are you using, animal products, which I'm not some expert on animal products, but, if you're always using beef tallow, the effects on your cholesterol can be concerning. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not authorized to provide any kind of medical advice by any means. But these are things that I think about because, this canola oil is not good for you. You can take my advice on that. And if you're using olive oil, well, are you using extra virgin olive oil? Because extra virgin olive oil is not supposed to be cooked. You're not supposed to put that in a pan and saute with that. You're supposed to use, what's called light or refined or 100% olive oil or whatever. That's the stuff that you're supposed to cook with. Now, a lot of people don't know that. They don't really have proper exposure to that. What kind of pans are you cooking with? What kind of blenders are you using? Like, what kind of water bottle do you use? All of these things can put you at a very high risk for many dangerous types of diseases, or getting microplastics in your body, or X chemicals. So for example, like non-stick pans, like you have to move to stainless steel, and these are all things that I really care about. Now, what can I do about it? Well, all I can do is raise awareness, and also try to make money, of course, but making money, like if I put a really good stainless steel pan that I use, and I put a referral link on that, I might make a little bit of money, but it's a lot more fulfilling to even think like, hey, like I'm benefiting from something that I can help other people benefit from. So anyway, that's kind of like the home side of things that I'm passionate about, because when it comes to cooking and living at home, it's kind of like a deep rabbit hole about, is what you're doing really healthy? Now with cars, which is like the complete opposite of this kind of super healthy lifestyle, because modern vehicles, despite being electric, they require crazy amounts of earth metals, and you have to destroy environments and dig so deep into the earth to get these things for like batteries and electric cars. And so personally, I like gas cars. I think they're true and tested. Yeah, it's true. It might generate a lot of CO2 to the environment, but I don't think that I'm damaging the environment more than someone who's getting an electric car, and that electric car requires insane amounts of resources and shipping and probably fracking and mining, and all of that is probably being run by machines that run on gas anyway. So I'd rather just use my gas car instead of be sold the dream that this electric world is like the future. It is, but not yet. And until that happens, I have yet to move over. And also, I like cars with soul. I also like to wrench around here and there, like work as a bit of a mechanic in my garage, and like get under my car, or change the tires. It could be like simple work or more complicated work, but it's really fun for me. Of course, driving or racing. I have never raced because that's illegal on the street, but I would like to kind of participate in that sort of thing. Sometimes I think that go-karting might be fun, like not like go-karting with 13-year-olds. I mean like going in a really fast car, like you can crash, you can fall off, you can get hurt. It's all part of the thrill. And also like, you know, JDM, come on, be real. JDM, that's where it's at. Ikigai, you know. But yeah, so these are kind of the things that I'm passionate about. And so not just JDM, but like people always talk about these cars, but a lot of people don't understand the history. Now sometimes you're lucky enough to go and meet somebody who has like a really good understanding and memory of like the history of vehicles. Like, why is like the Honda Prelude such an interesting vehicle? Like, people don't know that, you know, the Honda Prelude, you know, around the right type of track, around a certain type of challenge, you know, it's a pretty slow car, but it set records. Like, it beat other cars, it beat Porsche, it beat Volkswagen, it beat even Ferrari, I'm pretty sure, in that. Now, don't take my word for it, but you can go and kind of look into those things yourself and find why are cars like the Prelude and the Celica so interesting from a JDM perspective. And now this kind of concept of GR, and so this is the, you know, Toyota Gazoo racing team, which is fascinating. Like, you have these people and they're told like, hey, you can't compete in this race because, I don't know, we don't have the budget for a racing team. And what do? They go undercover, okay, like underground, you could even say. Shout out to Need for Speed. And they went and they did really good, okay. And I don't know if that was the Morizo guy. With all due respect, on the Morizo name, but I think that it's so fascinating that in nowadays, in today's world, everything is moving electric, but hey, we still have racing and we still have cool companies and cool cars, and they got these new crazy GR supercars which look nuts, and that's like just gets my it gets my gears grinding, you could say. Now, technology. Okay, so what about technology? Well, nowadays we're surrounded by technology like AI. Do you hear me smashing my keyboard? It's all about AI. And of course the backbone of AI is like machine learning, but like in order to run these crazy workloads, it starts to cloud. And so cloud is very interesting to me. I hope to learn a lot more about cloud, and that's kind of what initially started this thought process of like, hey, I need to make a video to organize my thoughts. Now, what else is there? So AI, machine learning, cloud. When it comes to cloud, I'm thinking AWS. They have like a lot of market share, and they seem to be a world leader. And it's also interesting that you see AWS sponsors on Formula One cars, which like falls in the cars category. But what else is there about tech? Like, okay, infrastructure, like data centers. These are all things that I'm really, really interested in, because, you know, right now, I would even take a step further to talk about energy, because right now the amount of energy required to run these data centers is pure insanity. Like, people do not understand that, you know, if you've ever seen a call between Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Joe was saying, you know, we don't have access to clean water, so why don't we just take the salt out of the water? And like Neil is like yelling at him, and he's like, it's just money, and he's saying like, okay, well, you know, but like, why can't we just do that? And the truth is that, well, it depends on whether or not money is a motivator. And in the case of water desalinification, I don't know, money is not a motivator. No one cares because it's not profitable. You know what is profitable? AI and machine learning and cloud and data centers, and this all this futuristic technology, which like billions and billions of dollars are being poured into it. every single day, and that's totally normal. Now that it's ironic because these are both about water. There's a lot of water use because of, I don't know, cooling? Actually, I don't know, to be honest. I have no idea why there's so much like water consumption for AI, but hey, that's something that I want to get into. And so what my goal is with these various components, these three ideas, is I want to start a channel for each one. Now, I would imagine that under the tech one, that's kind of where more of like the thinking happens. Like I feel like this kind of video would not fall under cars, and it would not fall under home. It doesn't necessarily fall under tech, but I would put it under tech because I feel like, you know, it's a technical analysis. It's not just about technology. It's about technical excellence, if you know what I'm saying. So now also, when it comes to cars, there's a lot of technical things about cars that car people really don't give two shits about. But for example, 3D printing. There is a crazy market for 3D printing, and if you've been kind of keeping up with what's going on in the world with Bugatti and these massive companies like Porsche, where it's like, hey, I need a new headlight, and they're like, okay, well, give me like $7,000, and they're like, what, are you out of your mind? Or like for Bugatti, we need a new bumper, and it's like, okay, well, e-transfer us $100,000. It's like, I'm not gonna do that when we have, you know, 3D printing. I can just go and print myself a bumper. I don't even need you. And I really like this because that kind of goes into the right to repair, which is something else I'm really passionate about. I have a background in fixing lots of technologies like MacBooks, Apple, computers, cell phones, Androids, TVs, monitors, video games. Like I've kind of gotten my hands dirty with, you know, micro soldering and like component replacement. I've never done data retrieval. I think that's like a different demon. I haven't gotten into that. To be honest, it's pretty easy. That's the thing. Like a lot of people think like, oh, it's so hard to change a phone screen. It's like, it's not. If you're careful and you have like the patience to be like, okay, I just need to like take a heat gun, heat up the glue, pop it off, take some screws out, take a plate off, and like, you know, pop things out in a way where you're not gonna break something, then it's very doable. Now, I don't do that anymore because it's just now profitable. It's too much risk. These phones cost like a down payment nowadays just for a new iPhone. I'm what you can call not a fan of the fruit company because I don't like the way they do business. Like, I'm sure if you were to go to their litigation page, you may find the same. Now, so this is my Ikigai board. How am I going to progress on these things? How am I going to make it useful, make it interesting? I don't know. I imagine the tech part of the channel will be pretty boring. I feel like, you know, in some cases, for example, like a car, like you need the right music, you need the right intro, you need the right kind of vibe to make it like engaging. But for this kind of technology content, like for example, let's say I want to 3D print a body kit for my car, or 3D print a bumper or a spoiler for my car. I want to design it, and you know, I do have a background in mechanical engineering, and while I did not take a course on aerodynamics, I think I have enough understanding of flow and what's the word, fluid dynamics and boundary layers and these things. I don't want to make this like a deep engineering kind of thing, because I think that's boring for a lot of people. But just like a really high level understanding, and also like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is the analysis I did to do it. And boom, now I'm transferring this into a design to solve that problem. So like, I am an engineer. I am very passionate about engineering. Depending on where you live, that may be a crime to say, but it's not in Canada, or at least the certification board doesn't care anymore. So I have a bachelor in engineering. I'm going to call myself an engineer. And if you have a problem with that, then you can go put that in my suggestion bin, which is right here. So you can go put that there. Besides, being an engineer is not about your degree. It is not about your experience. It is not about what jobs you've held. It is not about what you studied. It's about how you think. And if you can apply really good fundamental principles in your thinking and use that information to design a solution and solve a problem, I think you are an engineer. And that's all it is for me. And some of the smartest people I've met have never been engineers anyway, so kind of contributes to that point. So yeah, so this is the vibe. This is the vibe. So stay tuned. If you already left the video at this point, that's totally fine, because I'm doing this for me anyway. Now, Ikigai board. Why don't we do let's get a Ikigai PNG. Ikigai PNG. All right, maybe we can get into Ikigai. I wasn't planning on this, so I like this one. It's got the right vibe. Boom. Ikigai is the connection of what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. Now, between these, they made passion, mission, profession, vocation. So if I had to take this, I would... How do I rotate this? This rotation button's not working. Okay. Boom. Wow. By pure chance. This is the alignment. So this means that what I'm good at is technology. What I can be paid for is also technology. What I love is cars. And what the world needs is a home. No, what the world needs is health. I kind of give up on the text there, but maybe both. Health and home. So that worked out really well. If you think this is cool, stay tuned. I'm going to try to post videos whenever I have time. I'm doing my best to balance my career and my goals and my passion and interest and family and social life and all of that. So I might disappear every now and then, but I think this is a good step, and I think this will help me kind of organize my interests, because right now I'm kind of like all over the map, bouncing around in terms of ideas and what should I do and what do I do with my life and where do I want to go. And yeah, okay, so if you found that interesting, drop a comment. If you are in a similar position in your life, I would hope that this kind of thing might help you or inspire you or just help point you in the right direction, or at least help you know that you're not the only person that's in that position. Okay. So that's all for me. Take care.